Story 1, Rule 1. Be careful who you marry. It starts with genuinely respecting and liking each other, having the same sense of humor, and sharing the same vision for what you want in life while being adaptable when things do not work out. Parent as a team and maintain unrelenting commitment through hard times. Story 2. Marry your best friend. Lust fades, but laughter and respect will carry you through decades. Story 3. People ask me how I am doing, and I respond exactly as she tells me to. We will have been married 48 years in 9 days. We resolved disagreements and tried never to go to bed angry. She put up with my Marine Corps career, and I supported her nursing career. Now she is on home dialysis. I am her dialysis technician and caregiver. I still tell her I love her every morning. She was dropped on her head by a certified nursing assistant in May and has now developed a traumatic brain injury with concussion-related dementia that comes and goes. So lately it has been a roller coaster. Story 4. Do not argue over trivial matters. Acknowledge your own faults and accept your partner's faults. Treat your partner with dignity. Tell and show your partner that you love them. If you are raising children, make time for yourselves. Story 5. I am a man and the cook. She does not know how to cook rice. I am 41 years old. Story 6. Stealing a famous quote. A successful marriage requires falling in love many times, always with the same person. Mignon McLaughlin. A lot of people are unprepared and fail to understand that marriage is not static. It evolves. People change, circumstances shift, and love must be renewed through conscious effort. Staying connected means adapting to who your partner becomes over time. This only works if both partners do their part. Story 7. We have never tried to change each other, and we both feel we married up. Good sex does not hurt either. We have been together for 25 years. Story 8. Please and thank you. I am sorry, and I forgive you. Basic courtesy is key. If you love and respect your partner, it is easy to become comfortable. 39 years and counting. Story 9. We have been together 19 years, and I know we will make it until the end. My wife is the other half of my soul. She is the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I could not imagine life without her. The day she dies will likely be the day I die. Story 10. Communication. Paying attention, being accepting, affectionate, and appreciative, and allowing her to be herself. She does the same. I am because we are. Story 11. I believe there are 3 legs in a marriage. Lovers, friends, and partners. You need sexual attraction. You need to be friends and be able to have fun just hanging out. You need to be able to do life together, such as agreeing on house duties, raising children, bills, and spending. None of these will be perfect, but they should all be present. There will be times sexual attraction wanes, but you are friends. There will be times you struggle to compromise on chores, but you are close in the bedroom. There will be times they annoy you, but you depend on each other for the children and other life responsibilities. Dependence on each other is not a bad thing. It is not wrong to need each other for the ease of your life. It can hold you together through very bad storms. When the storm passes, you will be glad you did not leave. At some point, you will have irreconcilable differences with anyone, even your children. It is not necessarily because you married the wrong person. Most times one or both adjust, compromise, and the difference fades. Wait out the storms. Do not just leave unless it is abuse. Many leave only to have problems with the next partner. Building a life of shared memories is worth it. Try to stick it out. If you do now. Story 12. Do not marry a jerk. Marry the person you cannot live without, not someone you think you can live with. Pay attention to how they treat people they do not like and people who are not in a position to do anything for them. If they treat those people poorly, they will eventually do the same to you. Story 13. Next year we will have been together 33 years. We were teenage sweethearts. Never stop making an effort. Treat every year like your first. Keep sex and lovemaking alive and continue to make an effort to look nice. Stopping is complacency and laziness. Share household chores and keep fit. Don't fall for the nonsense of Valentine's Day. No man should need a special day to buy his wife flowers, and no woman should need one to wear sexy underwear. Men should not underestimate what vacuuming, cooking, and other housework can do for a relationship. Maintaining an active love life helps keep the special bond and spark alive. Story 14. Someone else said fight clean, fuck dirty, which is key to a happy marriage. I would also add respect. Remember that your spouse is a person with dreams, desires, hopes, and fears, and they chose you. So do not fuck it up for them. Story 15. We are completely committed to the vision. To raise our children, build a fortune, and take care of each other. We have faced horrendous times. Name it, and we have been through it. As the years go by, it gets easier. We see what we have built together and are determined to finish it. We also regularly go on vacation without the children and enthusiastically celebrate each other's goals and achievements. Story 16. Stay on the same team. Always defend your spouse to other people, even if you think they're wrong. Figure that out at home. Story 17. Communication is essential. Grace and self-reflection are equally important. Sometimes you are angry with someone close to you, and it is not because of anything they did. You need to be on the same page about major issues such as finances early, preferably before marriage. Story 18. In real life, things can get tense, and when one person chooses not to speak after a conversation is started, both people must have the grace to let it go and not continue down that bad path. Knowing when not to take things too far is a vastly underrated skill. Story 19. I married my best friend. We laugh, sing, and dance. Most important of all, we communicate with each other. Story 20. 20 years on Tuesday. You must give your partner space to pursue their interests, and your partner must give you the same. Make room for shared activities as well. The longer you remain interesting and motivated individuals, the more fulfilled your relationship will be. Story 21. A genuine commitment to each other that is greater than our commitment to oneself. Be quick to acknowledge faults and mistakes. Express nuance and avoid forcing things into black and white, especially when angry. Take responsibility to address relationship issues while communicating in a way that does not push the other person away. Try statements such as, "I've noticed this. It makes me feel a certain way or makes me wonder about things. Can you help me understand? Would you consider this?" Spend time together every day to share and chat. At our best, this was a daily walk, a cup of tea, or a card game. Partner on big decisions. Frequent praise, affection, intimacy, and humor. Story 22. I married my best friend from school. We still laugh at silly things. We accept each other as individuals and do not feel the need to control one another. I think that is key. Our sex life is regular and satisfying. Story 23. Stop thinking a long marriage is a good one. My parents were simply brought up to believe divorce was the worst thing anyone could do. My dad is a pathological liar. My mother just allowed him to walk all over her. Story 24. You both have to want it and work at it. Sometimes it's amazing. Other times it's really hard, but you do the work. Story 25. Have a long enough relationship before marriage to see how your partner handles inconvenience versus catastrophe and whether they can tell the difference. Story 26. You should not only love your partner but also like them. You will spend a lot of time together, so you should enjoy being with them. Take an interest in what they enjoy, but also keep activities you enjoy doing alone. My best advice is that your disagreements, and there will be some, should be kept between the two of you. They are no one else's business unless you seek counseling. I think the worst thing you can do is run down your partner to other people. We will celebrate 32 years this month, and I hope we have at least 32 more together. Story 27. No name-calling when angry. No silent treatment when upset. Always say thank you, whether it is for something as simple as doing the dishes or taking out the trash, or for being supportive when life choices need to be made. Also respect your partner's choices without judgment. I choose to be my partner's constant. Everything else can change. Jobs, children moving away, pets dying, parents needing more help. I will not change. My feelings won't either. I will be here as long as I can, and I know he feels the same. Story 28. Make each other laugh. Don't hang on to anger, sexual chemistry, Fair division of labor, especially if you have kids. Same financial goals. Story 29. Stand by each other through thick and thin. Remember, there are two sides, and sometimes mutual agreement is needed. At the end of the day, love each other more than ever and do not go to bed fighting. I have been married for 36 years. Story 30. We lost a son about 2 years into our marriage. We began attending couples therapy and emphasized open communication, honesty, and accepting each other as we were and as we became. Those lessons carry on to this day. We can speak frankly without recrimination or judgment. We say what we feel, avoid yelling, and work together to find solutions. We have been married 21 years. We have never fought because we do not need to. Story 31. Patience, tolerance, and a shared love of the latest Netflix binge-worthy show. Story 32. My husband has made me laugh for 52 years. I love him, he is mine. Story 33. Find someone who likes you at your lowest point in life. Story 34. The 3-step process for a 50-plus year marriage is: Step 1, get married young. Step 2, do not divorce. Step 3, do not die. Story 35. Almost 18 years but separate bathrooms, hands down. Sometimes even separate bedrooms. Story 36. Together 36 years, married 34 years. Do not sweat the small stuff. Give each other support and freedom to grow. If you have the same overall life goals, you can laugh together as you traverse the bumpy roads to get there. Story 37. My wife of 40 years is also my best friend. I realized long ago that if I am going to be married, I would rather be happy. I love and cherish her and try to make her life joyful. We are a lot alike in many ways. We do not do things to hurt or disrespect each other. We are equals. Story 38. For 27 years, take turns being the bold one, the strong one, the supporter, the winner, or the most attractive. When it is your turn, be grateful, not smug. When it is their turn, be appreciative, not bitter. Story 39. How do you resolve conflicts? Who initiates communication after an argument? Story 40. A simple 3-part phrase that you both have to commit to saying when it is needed. 1. I was wrong. 2. You were correct. 3. I apologize. For smaller disagreements, it can be shortened jokingly to right, wrong, sorry. But for bigger ones, the full phrasing is paramount. Story 41. I know this sounds trite and simple, but communication is the answer you are looking for. Story 42. Divorce is too expensive and we do not want the children to have to live in separate homes. So he stays upstairs and I stay downstairs, and almost no one knows. Please do not be like me. If I could leave, I would. It is miserable. It is somehow worse to be lonely in a relationship than to be lonely on your own. Keeping up the charade makes everything in life feel fake. The children are happy, but that is about it. I am working on an exit plan because this cannot be my life forever. I only tell you this because not everyone married for 20 years has sunshine and rainbows. There are a lot of us staying married for convenience. Story 43. We have been married almost 50 years. We learned about each other before marriage. Likes, dislikes, goals, and dreams. We dated 4 years before we married. We committed to a life together and agreed never to use the word divorce. I trusted him to always keep me safe and secure. I never worried he would be unfaithful because that was not who he was. We allow each other to be individuals while remaining united. Story 44. Honesty, faithfulness, patience with each other, and having plenty of room in our home to go our own ways when necessary. My spouse and I have been together nearly 30 years. It is not always easy, but for us it is always worth it. Story 45. Marry someone you can live with and who can live with you. Story 46. You don't want to know. I got divorced at 20. Story 47. I have known him for 24 years. He is the kindest, sweetest man. I got really lucky. I am interested in what he has to say, and I respect him as a human. Story 48. I got married at 19 and have been married 25 years. Many people said we were too young, but we knew, so there was no point in putting it off. First, agree politically. Truly understand that marriage should make you one unit. Your failures are her failures, and her successes are yours. You are not competing. When you argue, know that anything you say can diminish the unit and yourself as a result. So pull your punches or you'll hurt yourself as well. I don't think some people truly understand that concept. Sounds like a cliché when people say it, but it is true. As you grow as a person, you must recognize that you are changing as a couple as well. Whoever you choose to be is not something you are choosing just for yourself. It will be reflected back to you by your partner. If you're a jackass, it won't be long before you see it in her as well. Lastly, never say divorce, and never joke about it or threaten it. Some things you can't take back no matter how hard you try. Story 49. Be friends first, lovers second. That's the real secret. Story 50. And I still find her sexy and desirable, even as we grow old together. Story 51. Look up the child support payouts and realize you are committed to making it work. Story 52. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary. These are my takeaways. 1. You need to like and respect your partner in addition to loving them. Contempt and resentment are poison and will kill any relationship. 2. You need to be a team. Both of you should be against the problem, not against each other. 3. Talk about the big stuff before marrying, no matter how difficult the conversation may be, and especially if you are not sure you will like what you hear. Pre-marriage is the time to work these things out or realize that you cannot and go your separate ways. Money, sex, children, family involvement, career, where you will live, religion, life goals. Marriage is much easier if you are in alignment on these things from the start. 4. Be in a good place yourself mentally and emotionally before marrying. If you think marriage is going to fix the problems you have inside, you are mistaken. 5. Do not fall into the trap of being your spouse's keeper. This applies especially to women. Your spouse is an adult and should act like an adult. By setting expectations from the start, you will end up with a true partner, not another child to care for. Your spouse can make their own appointments, buy presents and cards for their own family, schedule their own car maintenance, and wake themselves up for work. Remember, your spouse did not hire you. They married you. 6. Also avoid rigid his job and her job divisions. Yes, we each have things we generally take care of, but if my husband sees the kitchen floor is a mess, he will sweep it even though cleaning is generally my job. If we are out of milk and bread, I will stop on my way home from work even though grocery shopping is his job. Overall, being kind and respectful to each other goes a long way, and it is disheartening how many people do not get this. Story 53. I have been married 12 years, and I can count the number of arguments I have had with my wife on one hand. The secret is mutual respect. You do not win every argument, and you must understand that not every argument is worth winning. Pick your battles. Give space when necessary. Be supportive when needed. Be a good friend and respect one another. That is basically all it takes. Story 54. I have only been married about 12 years, but you are both going to have bad days. Make sure they do not occur at the same time. Remember, you are a team. Marriage is not 50-50. It is 100% from each partner. Story 55. Married at 20. Together for 26 years. I'm no expert, but 1. You not only marry the person, you marry the family. 2. You must be open and honest no matter what. 3. You must not only love the person but also like them. Story 56. I asked this question of my grandparents, who were then celebrating 65 years together. Next week it would be 75. My grandmother stared at me and said, "Well, murder is illegal," and then continued to eat her dinner. Story 57, 30 years here. Marriage is not 50-50. Sometimes she has 10, so I have 90, or I have 25 and she has 75. Whatever works. Be best friends. Make each other laugh. And lots of sex. Story 58. We are kind to each other, smiling, laughing, and enjoying being together. I am visiting my parents right now, and they are so mean and competitive that they cannot stand being in the same room together. Story 59. Never go to bed upset. No cheating or dishonesty. the ability to talk about almost anything. Story 60, we got married for better or for worse. I could not do any better and she could not do any worse. Story 61, pray together and for each other. Laugh often. Say I love you every day, and always say goodnight with a kiss. Story 62, it's no secret. Marry your best friend. Date people you enjoy being with first and foremost, not just those you enjoy having sex with or those you think are the sexiest. Looks fade and sex will come and go. What's really important is that you have a partner, not a possession, servant, maid, or sex toy. Once you have a partner in life, step 2 is respect, absolute respect. Not love, not adoration, not lust, respect. Realize they are your partner, a fully formed human being with wants and needs. Respect is crucial. Everything else flows from there. Story 63. Duration of marriage says nothing about the quality of the relationship. Story 64. People have bad days and get grumpy. Never take it personally. Let go of your pride. Marry someone you have a lot of fun with. My wife is stunningly beautiful. I am also very attractive without realizing it, which makes me even more appealing. Story 65. 30 years. When I proposed to her, I said, we may never be rich. We may never be famous. But it will not be a dull ride. Story 66. There are a lot of healthy 20-plus year marriages in this comment section. Great to see. But where are all the toxic 20-plus year marriages? I need some balance. Story 67. Hear each other out, presuming your partner is reasonable. Own tasks completely. One person always takes out the trash. The other always does the taxes. Do not try to force sharing hobbies unless you are genuinely inclined. Do not ever miss an opportunity to have sex. 20 years and counting. Story 68. We want to be together more than we want to be apart. We are very good together in a crisis. Hardship pushes us closer instead of dividing us. During the good times, we have appreciation and good memories of pulling through together. Nobody else holds a candle to my partner. We have been together 30 years and are hoping for at least another 30 before we retire. Story 69. Be self-aware and willing to reflect and change if necessary. Resentment can kill a marriage, so talk things through. Marry someone who makes you laugh. Story 70. We put each other first, love and trust one another, and still have so much fun together after 40 years. Story 71. We never hate each other at the same time. Married for over 60 years. Story 72. I know this is an old cliché, but communication is the key. The number one rule in our marriage has always been to go to bed with issues resolved. Married for 31 years, and as many others have said here, you need to have a friendship. Beauty fades and sex will not be as frequent as in the first year, but the quality increases with each year. I often tell people that even if you are a sex machine, a good session will last on average around 30 minutes. That means that after sex, you still have 23 and a half hours to spend with the other person. If that is something you can do with your partner, you are moving in the right direction. I do not want you to get the impression that I am bragging about 31 years or that it has been a walk in the park. On the contrary, there have been difficult moments, but we have managed to move forward as a team. Bottom line, communicate, be friends, and adjust to the changes in sexual activity after a couple of years. Story 73. We have been married 22 years. My wife is my best friend. We have more fun together than I can express. I knew on our second date that she was the one. My grandfather told me when I was young that we should never stop dating. Through everything life throws at us and while raising 3 sons, we have never stopped dating. It is a rare weekend when we do not have a date night. We leave our cell phones in the car and focus on each other. Story 74. Apathy, cannabis use, and pornography for over 24 years. Not happy years, but years nonetheless. Story 75. I married someone with a kind and respectful nature, and we discussed our possible future together in detail before the wedding. We did not leave conversations about money, children, faith, or values until we encountered those issues. By the time we were married, we had already developed strong communication skills for the most challenging life topics. That is not to say we never argued, became frustrated, or made mistakes. We did all of that. But once we calmed down, we both worked to repair the relationship. The repair work is often the most important part, listening to each other's opinions and being influenced by each other's needs. That was much easier because of kindness and respect. Story 76. Sorry, I cannot help edit content that demeans a protected group. Here is a neutral version. Some people are like cats. You should not hold a cat that does not want to sit on your lap. If you care for someone, show affection, and tell them they are appreciated. They are more likely to stay. Story 77. It is not easy and takes a lot of patience. Believe things will get better. I was married for 49 years. He died before our 50th anniversary. Story 78. Divorced and remarried. Do not marry someone you think you can live with. Marry someone you cannot live without. Story 79. There are no secrets. Communicate, love, and respect. Face problems together. Build your lives around each other. It's all pretty basic. Story 80. We will have been married 40 years in 2 weeks. I had been divorced and had some idea of what to look for and what not to do. I was going to be introduced to a young woman, but I hung back. I saw her from a distance, and when the person introducing me pointed me out, she did a triple take and had the hungriest look I had ever seen. I can get along with anyone. My ex never really liked me. She told me she was leaving so I could find someone who would actually love me. She is my soulmate and we still have a good time together. It is 1 o'clock in the morning, and I can hear her snoring in the bedroom. It lets me know she is still alive. The secret to happiness is communication. Let your partner know what you need, but do not be needy. It just so happens that I am very handy. I installed my own solar system, and being handy makes her happy. Story 81. Patience and softening the edges because our relationship is bigger than being right. Story 82. Listen to understand. Don't listen to win or to compromise. Story 83. Be willing to put in the work to get to know each other through the years. You will change. They will change. Reconnecting and appreciating those changes can make all the difference. Story 84. 23 years together. The kids who married each other are gone. We are very different now than we were then. I am sure the next 23 years will bring even more changes. Regular sexual intimacy. People need to feel wanted. Affirmations. Tell each other you appreciate one another. Not just say, I love you. Make yourself happy. Do not look to the other person for it. That is when problems arise. She gives me space to explore my passions, and I give her space. We support each other. Weekly date night. Do not worry about the little things like dishes, laundry, cleaning, or cooking. Most marriages fight over that, so let the small stuff go. Focus on values, beliefs, parenting, appreciation, and shared vision. Story 85. Communication. You must be able to talk about anything. If you cannot have honest conversations, you cannot work through your problems. Story 86. You must work as a team, have each other's backs, support one another, and treat each other as equals. Story 87. I was married for 21 years, and we made it that long because we went to dinner 2 nights a week. She went on Wednesdays and I went on Thursdays. Laughing out loud. Story 88. Don't bail when going through a rough patch that could last a while. People are quick to get divorced. Story 89. Marriage longevity does not automatically equate to success. Many people in long-term marriages are deeply unhappy. This offers another perspective on what success in marriage means. Story 90. Don't keep score. Keeping track of who cooks more, who cleans more, how often you see each other's family, who picks up the kids, who chooses the restaurant, and so on is just a recipe for disaster. I don't remember where I saw it, but someone said marriages work best when the balance is 60-40 and both partners try to be the 60. Story 91. Realize that no one is perfect. At some point someone will do something foolish. Acknowledge the mistake and fix it as needed. If you truly appreciate each other and what each person brings, you can move past it and value one another's contributions to the relationship. Story 92. Married for 23 years. Happy home, happy spouse. We communicate, We ran through some issues a few years ago when we were taking each other for granted and got mad when our normal expectations were not met, but we talked and worked through them. We make time every year for a weekend getaway where we do not leave the room except to eat sometimes. We go on date nights. I am on hormone replacement therapy, which has brought our sex life back. Women, I highly recommend it. Story 93. Marry someone you can work with. Be willing to negotiate, listen, win, lose, and grow together. Story 94. My workplace adopted an elderly Polish woman in the neighborhood. We did quick odd jobs for her, and she baked and cooked for us. My crew stopped by to do some work around the house, and I got to chatting with her. The topic of her deceased husband came up. She told us they had been married 54 years. A young crewmate puffed out his chest and bragged that he had been married 6 months. Her reply was priceless. She said, "Oh, honey, let me tell you something. The first 20 years are pure hell. After that, it is okay. If you can make it to the 20-year mark, it gets significantly easier." Story 95. Allow your spouse to have their own space, interests, and time to themselves, and to have sex once a week. Story 96. We joke that we are too poor to afford a divorce. The secret is laughing when times are tough. We have been married for 32 years. Story 97. We're on the same side. It's always us versus the problem. Each of us wants the other to be happy. Side note. Lust can definitely last for decades. I highly recommend it. Story 98. We will celebrate 25 years this coming week. We have continued to date one another all these years. We naturally agree on finances, raising our 2 sons, boundaries with each other's extended family, and we remain attracted to one another. We have had our ups and downs, but deep down we are committed to one another. We receive many unsolicited comments about how well-behaved and motivated our sons, ages 20 and 22, are. I think a lot of it comes from growing up with loving, supportive parents. Story 99. I have been married to my best friend for 46 years. Our sexual relationship is still satisfying, although it is less frequent than in our younger days. We laugh a lot, enjoy spending time together, and still travel extensively. We have similar retirement goals and prefer living below our means. Story 100. Do not give up when your partner annoys you a little. Story 101. Actually, I think an awful lot of people simply get themselves trapped. 20 years later, they are still trapped. Story 102. Be kind. Always use manners, no matter how comfortable you become. Story 103. I have been married 20 years cumulatively. Does that count? Laughing out loud. Story 104. Don't get divorced. Seriously, don't give up. 2 people who share the same commitment to a successful marriage can overcome anything. It will take arguments, anger, compromise, many sleepless nights, and days with less talking, but stay the course. Your spouse comes first, before the children and before yourself. Personally, I would add that you should keep God at the center of your lives, for He is the only reason we are still together. Story 105. Scooter is right. Rule 1. Be careful who you marry. If you see a trace of jealousy, run. That person will likely never change, and the jealousy will haunt your days and nights. Look at the parent they most resemble. Do you like that person and how they interact with the world? Do your due diligence. Once you have decided on your mate, be the best person you can be. Story 106. I've been with my husband since we were 15 and 17, making it almost 29 years. We only officially got married a year ago. Laughing out loud. Love is very important, but liking the person is even more important. When a lack of intimacy or closeness happens, knowing you still have your best friend sitting on the other side of the couch helps you get through it. Even when we are mad at each other, he always feels like home. Story 107. Commitment. Do not ever enter it thinking, oh well, if it does not work out, we can just go our separate ways. That is not true. Consider it a lifetime commitment and work at keeping it together. It is a 50-50 proposition. Neither partner gets more than half, but you can agree to compromise when something is more important to one partner than the other. Good communication helps. Share common values such as religion and politics, but you do not have to do everything together. There is room for individuality. You may have your own hobbies as long as you find common interests you can share, discuss, or debate. A relationship is always a work in progress, and both people must be willing to give. Talk a lot and listen well. Ask whether you are understanding what your partner is saying to avoid misunderstanding. I was married for 42 years when my husband passed away, so believe me when I say it takes a lot of work and you have to want to make it work. Anything less makes success unlikely. Story 108. Love fiercely with insatiable desire and passionate intimacy. Be loyal and deeply attracted to one another. Maintain open communication and mutual trust. Be all in on both sides. No 50-50 approach. Share a bank account and feel secure with yourself and the relationship. Have common interests and do everything together. Story 109. Don't sweat the small shit. You're not always going to see eye to eye, and sometimes you're going to be in a bad mood at the same time she is. Story 110. The saying goes, the opposite of love is not hate, it is indifference. I would add the corollary that hate is a form of caring. My wife and I have burned with a seething care from time to time, and that is okay after 41 years. Story 111. From what I gather, the secret is that they're miserable. Story 112. Married for 19 and a half years and together for 26 years. You have to act like you are still dating. Hold hands, send flirty texts, have breakfast dates once a month, and kiss. To be honest, sometimes I still feel like I am in my 20s and that we are still dating until I look at my oldest, who is almost an adult, and realize our ages. Also, look after yourself and never let yourself go. I prefer clothing styles similar to those worn by people in their 20s and 30s, a youthful look rather than a grandmotherly style. Story 113. The best advice I have seen. The 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work by Dr. John Gottman. 7 Principles. 1. Love maps. Learn about your partner's dreams and fears. 2. Allow influence, do favors for each other and accept each other's influence. 3. Fondness and admiration. Be supportive and respectful of each other. 4. Turn toward, acknowledge your partner's bids for your time. 5. Solve solvable problems. About 30% of problems are solvable. 6. Overcome gridlock. Find ways to live with perpetual problems. 7. Create shared meaning. Build a life together with shared goals, rituals, and symbols. Story 114. Marry the person you want to go on vacation with. Also, practice forgiveness. Don't go to bed angry. Story 115. Commit. If divorce is an option, it will not work. Marriage should be until death do us part. Otherwise, you become just another statistic. Communicate. Do not avoid conflict. Resolve it. It is not you versus your spouse. It is both of you versus the problem. Never lie to your spouse. Copulate. Give each other orgasms regularly. Sexual compatibility is an internet myth. Do not be selfish or have sex only when you want to. Be attentive to your partner's needs and strive to be sexually fulfilling to each other. Cohabitate. 2 lives become one. Do not try to live like you are single. Combine your finances. It is not her money versus my money. It is our money. Share your wealth, values, and vision for the future. If you cannot commit to all of these things, then you should not get married. Story 116. Marry someone who values duty, loyalty, laughter, and responsibility. Story 117. In no particular order. Communication, sharing, being emotionally available, and sexual intimacy. Story 118. In our marriage, everything is equal. House chores, the rigmarole of the children's schooling and extracurriculars, joint finances so we can both see where the money goes, and the freedom to question any transaction and accept an answer, even when it is a secret. Sexual compatibility is important. We come from different walks of life, work in completely different industries, and are at opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to music, movies, and other media, but we share similar morals and beliefs. You also need to make the effort. Everything is shared equally, but if she has had a particularly stressful day and I finish early, I will pick up our child from after-school care, even if I did it yesterday. It is not a competition. It is a partnership. Story 119. Divorce equals poverty for men in middle age, so persevere. Story 120. Shared values and goals, affection, honesty, and open communication. Story 121. Our children bind us tightly. I do not want them. She will not take them. Story 122. We are great friends who want the best for each other and are deeply proud of one another. Our interests overlap somewhat, and our dysfunctions complement each other. He is a workaholic, and I am somewhat agoraphobic. Story 123. Teamwork, love, respect, and laughter. Married for 20 years. We work together and are now retired. Be each other's best friend. Story 124. In the history of the world, two people have never resolved a disagreement by screaming at each other. Take a breath, go for a walk, and talk it out once you are both calm. Story 125. Remember that you are on the same side. If you have a disagreement, be calm and discuss it privately. Be very open about money, as that is how a lot of marriages fall apart. I just reached 27 years of marriage. Story 126. We have been here for more than 30 years. We like each other, have fun, respect one another, and have each other's backs at all times. Story 127. Always remember that both of you are a team, so whatever either of you does or does not do affects the team. Your partner comes first. Make sure they know you have their back. Communicate about everything. Compromise often. You are not always right, so learn to be quiet more often. That is a reminder for me. Story 128. If you both talk a lot and try to engage but cannot reach agreement or compromise, see a couples counselor. Counseling is not just for when things are bad. It helps you get ahead when you do not know how to get on the same page. My only regret is not going sooner. My husband and I are both children of divorce and grew up with emotionally immature parents in different economic circumstances, so we were set up to fail without counseling. Love is important, but life partnership is even more important. Make sure you are on the same page about the important things such as money, children, extended family, and career balance, and you will, by default, resolve 90% of the conflicts most couples have. Our couples counselor was surprised that our only issue was how to communicate. We were aligned on the big issues because we had intentionally covered them before we moved in together. Story 129. Compromise everything. Don't sweat the small stuff. 42 years. Story 130. You are a team, both of you working together to solve a problem or issue. You work together to make both of your lives better. You support and root for each other, celebrate each other's wins, and sometimes step in when the other is sidelined. If you start competing with each other and keeping score, you lose. You communicate and compromise. You learn to listen and trust. You remember that this is the person who you love and respect. Story 131. No secret. You don't divorce. You work through the problems. Story 132. Work opposite shifts so you never see each other. Just kidding. Be able to laugh together and make fun of your own mistakes. Story 133. It's easy to stay married a long time if you just don't get divorced. Obviously, there is more to it than that, but sometimes I think it's all about being very stubborn or apathetic. Story 134. We have been married for 50 years, and the secret is that we have lived more than 200 miles apart for 11 years. Story 135. Do not say the first two things you want to say. Story 136. My spouse ran around on Halloween with little plastic hands under his long sleeves, volunteering to hold up his hand to stop traffic so kids could cross the street, applaud costumes, give a dap, wave, pretend to karate chop the air, put his hand on my shoulder, hold our kids, candy bag, and do terrible Trump impressions. A guy like that is easier to forgive when he does something insensitive, as one does from time to time over the course of 30 years. He will definitely caress my face with those hands whenever I walk through the kitchen, and I will laugh. Story 137. We have been together for 18 years and married for 3. We are each other's best friends. We enjoy spending time together and have similar interests. We give each other personal spending money, and we discuss and work toward our future together. Story 138. Stop expecting people to be perfect, and when they are not, forgive them as you would want to be forgiven. Story 139. Compromise and frequent forgetting of things that were said and of incidents. Story 140. Do not sweat the small stuff. 52 years and counting. Story 141. Do not get so comfortable with your partner that you take them for granted. Story 142. Your partner should be your best friend and should support you in becoming the best version of yourself. They should build your confidence. You both should be honest and forthcoming. You do not have to see the world the same way, but you must stand back to back and face the world together. You need a shared vision of the future that you are both working toward. To get there, have high standards. Be prepared to walk away when someone falls short. Have all the important conversations to determine whether you are compatible before you commit. Story 143. Respect and laughter guide our marriage. I try to make my husband laugh every day, and I respect how hard he works. I do not think he respects me in the same way, but he loves me the way he knows how. No one is perfect. You will see your partner differently over the years, but always be honest and intentionally caring. Yes, we are also best friends with benefits. We have had rough patches. That is common, but it will not break you if you hold on to respect and laughter. Story 144. Learn to leverage each other's strengths and choose to love well every day. Story 145. Don't go to bed angry. Give each other plenty of space. Share chores. Have great sex, and we will celebrate 20 years together next week. Story 146. The secret to a long-lasting marriage is simple. Do not get divorced. Story 147. Learn to grow together. Both you and your partner will change over time, and you need to constantly adapt to each other. Story 148. We will mark 25 years on November 12th. It was not easy. It was hard, ugly, and sometimes toxic for both of us. But we never gave up on each other. We wanted this more, and that was the key. One of us understood the need to compromise and never gave up. He used to tell me not to put our children before our marriage, and as a mother, I did not want to hear it. But he was right. Our children grew up and left, and all we had was each other. My husband is my best friend and my world. I am so thankful we got through all the nonsense. Story 149. If you had a difficult childhood, seek therapy. You need to work on that first to understand yourself better. If you had a stable upbringing, ask yourself whether this will matter in a year. I used to get upset over little things and argue during my teenage years. It took a heartbreak for me to reflect on my behavior. Life is much easier when you can have fun with your partner and laugh about struggles, accidents, and everyday mistakes. Choose a partner who is not quick to anger, and be that person yourself. Life is hard enough. Your partner should be someone with whom you can share embarrassing moments, be yourself, and genuinely be a team. What it comes down to is being honest, knowing yourself, listening and trying to understand, and not taking things too seriously. Story 150. Marriage is not always about love. It is about companionship. 100%. Story 151. Our 20th anniversary was in August. For us, it comes down to doing things that make each other's lives easier. Story 152. We both wanted to stay married more than we wanted to get divorced. Story 153. Be your own person. My wife and I are often referred to as John and Jane as a couple, but it is just as important that we remain individuals. Maintaining individuality is key, in my opinion. As others have said, you have to actually like your spouse. Love is amazing, but liking your spouse helps ensure that love will endure. Story 154. We met on a blind date. We both had difficult previous marriages and worked hard to make ours succeed and to be good partners. She nursed me through cancer. We have been married 20 years and would not change a thing. Story 155. A lot of good information in these comments already. I'll give my 2 cents. What worked for me was not seeking a relationship because that wasn't the end goal. Be friendly with people, develop friendships, and spend time with friends. Join a happy hour group if you drink, or find a hobby and go to meetups. Connect with people genuinely. Dating apps can sometimes work, but they often lead to attitudes where if it does not work out, people just go back to the apps. If you find yourself in a situationship with someone, explore it more deeply. Many relationships end when the honeymoon phase is over and things start to feel bland. It is okay to set boundaries. I do not text at work because otherwise I would be on my phone all day. My partner can text me and I will reply later. Mostly she shares thoughts throughout the day. She talks a lot and I listen. Communication is the biggest thing. Always be willing to have an honest conversation. After the honeymoon phase ends, you may notice little things that used to be cute become annoying. You have quirks that bug your partner as well, so work through those on your own. 5. Partner does not fully close drawers, so I close them when I walk through the house. It is such a minor gripe, it is not worth mentioning. For most other things, communicate. Consider a regular check-in on a schedule that works for both of you to make sure everything is okay. If things are getting rough, you are considering breaking up or divorcing, your partner is getting distant or something feels off, go to couples therapy and keep going. Continue until the therapist and both partners feel there is nothing left to bring up. Therapy is important because it helps you learn more about the partner. You thought you already knew, and it helps them learn about you. Even simple gestures matter, like sending a goofy picture when you are having a bad mental health day. If you need more space or need to be held, those signals can indicate you are coping with life, not doubting your partner. Therapy can help set intention. That is my experience. It has been working out well so far, and I hope some of it can help you. Story 156. Never give up. You will have periods of doubt, insecurity, unhappiness, and adversity. Do not give up on one another. Story 157. Marriage is not 50-50. It is 60-40 and you both try to do the 60. Story 158. My husband and I had both been married and divorced before we married each other. When we started dating, we had clear expectations for marriage and were not willing to compromise on them. We wanted a marriage based on love, respect, and honesty. We wanted a relationship that was 100% for each person, not that it would always be 100% every day, but that we would be willing to give 100% for the other person. And on days when we could not, the other would do the same. We did not enter a marriage expecting our partner to change or believing we could change them, because that never happens. We also wanted a strong, healthy, and satisfying sex life throughout our marriage. On our first date, we discussed our desire to retire early and travel often, and we worked toward that goal. We did not want gendered roles, so we both share housework, yard work, childcare, and pet care. Our marriage is filled with love, laughter, and respect, and yes, conflict. We vowed to listen to each other and respectfully work through disagreements. We have been doing that for 35 years and have no plans to stop. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.